Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Hey everyone, checking in on the MJ space. So CGC broke the inside bar bearish, closed near the low of the day. We're just looking down at 25.26 key support. And there's a potential bottom fishing play off of that level. We have weekly oversold. We have daily oversold. We have 4-hour not oversold. But if we drop down and see some red to start tomorrow, we'll be getting there. Hourly, same scenario. So I may be interested in bottom fishing. Again, the closer the better. We're still over 4% above that support level. I'd like to see a break of 26 if I'm going to bottom fish 25, 26 support. And I would want to give a little bit of wiggle room under that support level. But that's pretty much all we're looking for here on CGC. Any bounce that we see, anything under 34.34 is just a daily lower high. Bears are in full control with a lower high every day for the last 6 days. We have not changed the daily trend in any meaningful way in 5 weeks. Same old story we've been saying for a long time. Cron is a weak bounce attempt. It's a potential bear flag on the daily time frame. The hourly chart right now has to hold 1183. If we break 1183, we lose the hourly high or low, and the odds of a daily bear flag will increase significantly. Bulls have to break the high of today, 1225, to try and keep this bounce going and create space for the bulls to be able to consolidate and hold support. But right now, bear flag watch on Cron. ACB, also weak and also bear flag watch. Inside bar yesterday, inside bar today. If we break 582 and 578 tomorrow, odds of a daily bear flag will increase as we'll be heading back down towards our recent low. Bulls are proving nothing. APHA, definitely standing out. So we have to look at APHA with two sets of glasses. The first set of glasses is looking at APHA compared to peers. And it's clearly standing out the last few days, most notably today, up 5% or whatever it was at the close. And everybody else was weak. Number two, we have to look at it as its own individual chart. Because you show me this chart and I would say, all right, I would expect a lower high compared to 696. And if the bulls are going to change this daily trend, it'll likely result in an initial rejection, the need for a daily high or low, and then the trend change. So that's what I'm keeping an eye out for. If we were to straight break 696 with no daily consolidation, I would not enter on that break. I would still wait for a daily high or low. The reason I would be interested in an entry is the weekly chart looking for a higher low to form after the earnings reaction. If you're looking at major Canadian MJ names and who is the closest to changing the weekly trend, APHA is not close, but it's the closest. Nobody else is forming a weekly high or low right now after all the bloodshed we've seen over the past few weeks. So I personally will be interested in an entry. Best case scenario for me, if this trade's going to come to me, it would be a rejection from 696, a pullback to perhaps 630s, and I begin to scale in, looking for the daily high or low. My stop would be down at 583, and I'd be looking for the daily trend change to confirm the weekly high or low has been established, and then we'd see if we can break 760 from there to change the weekly trend. So APHA definitely has our attention. TLRY had some news as far as increasing some guidance, talking about profitability within the next 2 quarters, I think it was. Either way, it squeezed some shorts at the end of the day. Big bull move, big bull volume. On the daily time frame, we're not looking for anything to happen except for a lower high, because anything under 46 is just a lower high, but it's a solid bounce, at least putting a stop to the bleeding, shifting the momentum. Hourly high or low formed at 29.95. Anything above 29.95 keeps the hourly uptrend intact. We're not going to set our daily lower high until we lose the hourly uptrend, so that's what is important to watch. A lot of other names saw some quick little bull spikes when that news came out, but very short-lived on most names, aside from TLRY, which saw a nice little 5-minute higher low and higher high into the end of the day. HEXO, weakness, lower high and lower low on the daily. So now we're just looking down at 4 psychological and 394 and 373 support. I'm not going to cover HEXO and OGI until we change the daily trend. Again, I'm just a broken record for 3 months where the bulls are not proving anything significant to us. And until HEXO and OGI, remember our tier 2 names, HEXO, OGI, CTST, they are battered and beaten up at this point, and I'm keeping an eye on them, and I'll cover them if anything notable happens, but They're getting the boot. I don't got time for that. VFF, $12 support is being tested. If we break $12, we have a daily lower high and lower low in a downtrend, and weekly consolidation will be underway. We will be looking for a weekly higher low to form compared to 889. The sooner the higher low forms, the better the odds of changing the weekly trend. If anybody can change the weekly trend, again, APHA is getting that set up. VFF is the other name, and I would say VFF is actually the best setup with a lot of space to work with, but they're at different points in these charts, and if anybody's going to change the weekly trend first, it's VFF and APHA. So it's all about $12 short term. If $12 support can hold, it's all about key resistance 1322 in the short term. T-God, notable bull move, getting back up into the gap fill. The gap fill's at 347. Nice spike in volume. Always a good sign to go from a declining volume pattern and break it for the bulls. Still certainly expecting a lower high compared to 369, but at this point, the bounce is significant enough that when we do top out, I would be looking for a lower high to be set, but I would be looking for a higher low. The bulls have a lot of space to work with to try and form that higher low. And what that would look like is the potential of a weekly higher low. And we'll see if we can change the trend with some follow through. Curaleaf just sideways still. Support is down at 863, 839. But it doesn't mean anything to me unless we break 976, and anything under that is just a lower high. So just trading sideways the last few days, low volume, nothing notable, and bulls have work to do. Anticipating the next bull move we see will just be a lower high compared to 976. C-Web, essentially a daily inside bar, not exactly, but at this point the bulls have to hold 2308 and break 2680 to change this daily trend and give us our weekly higher low. So that's what the goal for the bulls is the next couple days. Get back to 2680 and change the daily trend back in favor of the bulls. CL earnings just came out. Pretty good earnings. I haven't read through them, but judging the reaction, bulls are liking it so far. So we'll see what the reaction is tomorrow. The most notable thing, one of the more notable things in the earnings is that they expect the deal to close being approved by the DOJ in Q4. So sometime after September, which is still five weeks away at a bare minimum if they say Q4. It could happen before, but if we're going most likely scenario, if they say they expect it in Q4, that's where we should be looking. OH is still a 26-27% premium, or I should say discount, below CL. So I wouldn't be surprised that if OH goes up tomorrow more than CL, if you like CL's earnings, you should be buying OH in my opinion, because there's that discount. Obviously, the risk is the deal gets rejected, it doesn't go through, but there's 26% upside if the deal were to go through. Only thing is, we now have a timeline of saying, okay, well, it might be at least 5 more weeks before that could happen. So we'll see how OH responds. OH has its own earnings in the near term. If the CL bulls can get over 1249, I would call that a clear trend change. We did have some little higher lows and higher highs, but it was never a clear pivot point of significant consolidation into continuation, which we could get if the bulls do come out swinging tomorrow in a notable reaction. OH, bulls hoping for a bullish reaction because they need to keep this daily uptrend and hold 696 support. Daily higher lows still intact, but just barely. Bulls want to make their way back up to 8 resistance, which has rejected pretty much 3 attempts. IAN, still not doing anything, just trading sideways, 4-hour time frame. Resistance is 347 and 350. And for the bulls to hold support, 318 and 312. So 2 support levels, 2 resistance levels. If we break this pattern bullish, we zoom out to the daily, and we're just looking for a lower high compared to 395. If we break it bearish, we're looking to test the lowest prices we have seen. TRUL, so we were looking for the hourly trend change to happen for bounce follow through, and we double topped at the high of the bounce. We pulled back, we formed an hourly higher low at 1060. We tried to change the hourly trend, double top. So 1060 to 1110 is the most important range. Break 1060 and we're looking right back down at the low, and break 1110 and the daily bounce will be underway, but we're just looking for a daily lower high compared to 1330. MedMen's worth watching. Daily trend change would occur if we break 293. Inverse head and shoulders pattern on watch. Left shoulder with resistance of 294 at the neckline. Head with the double top at the neckline. Higher low for the right shoulder. have to break 293 and 294 to confirm the daily trend change. From there, we would zoom out and expect a weekly lower high compared to 362, and then the bulls would hope for the inverse head and shoulders there as well. Form a lower high compared to 362, weekly higher low, higher high. A lot of steps that the bulls have to do. It's clear what's needed. Now the question is, can they follow through? Step number 1, break 294, which is still about 6, 7, 8% away. CVSI, changing the daily trend, recovering from its all-out dump, but not going to get too excited. If you made an entry and are profiting, that's great. Protect that profit. Weekly time frame, anything under 435 is just a lower high. We can go 20% from here and still be forming a weekly lower high. So yes, the daily trend has shifted with the higher low and follow through, but it's coming off of an absolute dump, and the bulls are just trying to claw their way back to where we were a few weeks ago. So it's a nice bounce, but we're just looking for a weekly lower high at this point. That's where we stand overall. Again, just giving the boot to names that aren't doing anything notable. I'm not going to keep repeating myself every day. Hopefully, we are getting able to do some of our own analysis to be able to distinguish when something's notable or not. And we're going to be watching APHA and VFF's weekly timeframes. Can they change the trend? And from there, we're going to be watching CL and OH reaction to earnings tomorrow. VFF key $12 support, CGC key 25-26 support on the monthly time frame. And that's that. Do good things out there. Hope you're well. The ducks are flying in flock across the sky. They're still sticking around though, for now. And we'll end it off with some Iceland. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day.